Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, let's do the full review of this Samsung Galaxy Fold 2 that I've been actually now using it for the past 2 months. And I waited and I wanted to give you my real world usage experience. So I'll share that in this video. And we'll divide it between pros and cons, guys. I've made down some notes throughout 2 months, so I'll talk about it. List of pros and the list of cons. And if you guys recall, I had actually been using the original Fold 1. So I have an experience of this Fold. As you can see, this one is also still working. But to be frank, I would say after using this Fold 2, I would say it's a huge improvement. I would say more than 2 generations of improvement compared to the Fold 1. A lot of things that I always wanted in the next generation of the Fold, Samsung delivered with this one. But this is again not perfect. So let's talk about it. So let's first talk about the things that I liked, and then we'll move to the things that I did not like. And the first thing that I liked is now the screen is a lot bigger. It reaches to the edge, the outer screen, that is a 6.23-inch screen. If you notice the original Fold, how smaller this actually was. It was just this much. Here, these are the thick bezels. Here it goes all the way over here, and it's also wider. Hence, it's slightly easier, I would say, to type on this one compared to this one. Here, if I go, it's very, very narrow and it's very difficult to type. So this is a big improvement, I would say. And because of this, I noticed that I was using this phone a lot in this mode without actually opening it up like this. In fact, I would say about 65% of the time I was using the phone just like this and this because of the screen. So that's a big improvement. But a big bummer is that this screen, though it's an AMOLED screen, good quality screen, Samsung generally puts good quality screen. That's the same case. But this is restricted to just 60 Hertz, unlike the inner one, which is on 120, and I've been using this one in 120 Hertz, guys. Next thing that I feel is a big, huge improvement on this Fold 2 compared to this Fold 1 is the hinge. Again, as you know, they use this hinge to fold and unfold on, and this one, as you can see, it is so smooth. But on the original one, the Fold, as you can see, it's not elegant, and it's just floppy like this, as you can see. It doesn't have the tension. So I would say in terms of the hinge, Samsung has improved it by a lot. I did not expect that it'll improve this much, and it's now been 2 months and still there is no creaking or anything with the hinge. So the hinge is really good, and I like the fact that now because of this hinge, it has enough stiffness that you can keep the phone like this also, and you can actually there are some apps that take use of it. For example, if I open this and if I use it like this, it splits it over here. I hope you are able to see it like this. So you can view the video like this, and I've used this in this mode for even, what do you say, video conferencing calls or etc. For example, I was using Microsoft Teams, and I just put it like this. I could the top portion I was able to take the video conference and use the lower part of the screen. So you can do a few things like this. Even another thing that you can do is, again, let me just play back this video, and if you put it back, obviously it goes back to this front screen like this, and here also you can just tilt it like this and actually watch it. So I like the functionality. They call it tilt or something, some fancy word, but I would say this is a huge improvement. The hinge mechanism, this feels more I would say well thought, and I'm more comfortable with this hinge. It doesn't scare me while using this phone. Yes, you still have that slight edge in the center. If you just on the camera, it is noticeable a lot, but when you're just using this phone, you hardly notice it, or when you're watching a video etc., you don't notice it that much. So yes, the middle screen is there, but again, it's like the notch, guys. You actually start forgetting about it. What I liked with this one is that I do get a lot of Word documents, Excel sheets, etc., and I can open it up and it gives you a lot more real estate. So what I've noticed is that since I've got this Fold, for many of the small tasks, I used to always open my laptop. That is not the case with this one. This actually truly acts like a small tablet, and that way it is helpful. Also for typing, I would say, here I don't like it, it's still cramped, but let's say on the Twitter I'm here and I open it, it opens in the big one, and here if as you can see, the keyboard is relatively actually very big and it's easier to type. So again, yes, I like the mechanism, and it is the Hinge is the biggest improvement that I have seen on this one. Now moving to another thing is that now they've integrated the power button and the fingerprint scanner in one. On the earlier one, if you notice, the power button was here and the fingerprint scanner is here. As you can see, I can unlock it like this, but if I press this, nothing, it won't actually stop. I have to press this button to shut off the screen. Here it is integrated into one. This is a button itself and the fingerprint scanner. So I feel this is also a small thing, but a huge improvement and sort of a time saver. The fingerprint scanner works about 95% of the time. Sometimes it doesn't work properly, but yeah, again, you press it lightly, it works. So it has that dual functionality and more practical, I would say. The next thing is regarding the performance. Here I have to say I'm very happy with the performance. Again, it has that Snapdragon 865 Plus on it, and all the folds actually come with the Snapdragon 865 worldwide, and even in India we are getting the same thing. And it comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM, hence even the RAM management is actually really good. As you can see, I have tons and tons of apps. I never even bothered to close it or do anything, and I never had an issue of RAM management on this one. So that way, I would say not an issue. I still didn't get the One UI 3 update on this. Still, it's on 2.5, but hopefully we should get it very soon. Coming to the call quality also, the call quality was very good. I've been using this one with my Airtel SIM here, and it supports all the modes like Wi-Fi calling. I can enable it. It works and all the modes that you want. So that way, and it's a fully loaded device as you expect at this price point. It has everything, that wireless charging and all those things, and those things work very well. So in terms of performance, I would say I did not have any issues with performance. Another thing, let me actually try to play back one of my own videos. Let's just go back to one of my own videos. Let's just try this. Me, Robert, original one. Hi there, this is Ranjit, and as you can see, this is a peculiar, different kind of a package. And if you noticed how loud the speakers are, this has one of the loudest stereo speakers, and they are able to do it because here we have one speaker and at the bottom we have one speaker. Hence, the speaker is actually really, really loud on this one. Sadly, this one also does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack, but the Bluetooth actually works very well. Let me show you. If I go over here, just see how many with how many devices I've tested it. So many devices Bluetooth devices I've tested, and it worked brilliantly with almost every device I've tested. So the Bluetooth range is very good, and the speaker is actually very loud. I really had to keep it above 80%. I forgot to include about the battery life on this Fold 2. I'm recording with the front facing camera of the Fold 2 in indoor lighting so that you get an idea. And the battery life has been terrific. On paper, it does not look big, but I'm amazed with the battery life of this smartphone. I would say it easily lasts me about 6 to about 6.5 hours of SOT on a typical day. And rarely at the end of the day also, it generally hovers around 30 to 40%. So never I had an issue of battery life. I'm surprised with the battery life of this one. Looks like Samsung did a very good job of calibration with the Snapdragon 865 Plus processor on this. So battery life was never an issue in the past 2 months of usage. The camera on this one, if you notice back, we have the triple camera setup. All are actually 12 megapixel, and we also have a camera here. If you're using the inner screen, that's a 10 megapixel. And we also have another camera here. And I would say the camera is good enough on this one, but this is not the best that Samsung has offered. For example, I would say if I have to take the best camera, then it would be the Note 20 Ultra. That one has the best rear-facing camera. But the camera performance is actually good on this one. I never had a problem with the rear-facing camera. And if you follow me on Instagram, that is Geekyranjit official, the past 2 months photographs, most of them what I've taken were shot with this one, and many of you were asking me with which phone I took the photographs, as they came out so good. So the camera is good, but again, the typical problem with front-facing cameras of Samsung is full featured. In terms of software, I don't have a problem, but I felt the front-facing camera is a little bit on the softer side. I don't know, even when you disable this beauty mode and filters, it is slightly on the softer side. So that's a typical problem that I have with almost most of the Samsung flagship devices, that's the same case with this one. So these are the pros of this device. Here are some of the cons that I have noticed with this device. And the first thing is that, as I've told you, the front screen, I like it. It's actually good, full screen, so it's a lot more usable, but still I would say the keyboard is on the narrower side, and I do make quite a bit of mistakes typing on this one even after 2 months, so you got to be careful with that. This is a con, and I personally wished that Samsung implements some kind of IP protection on this one. There is no IP protection on this one. I know, yes, you have the Hinge and all those things, but some IP protection would have been a good thing. Next thing is the actual weight of this device. Even after 2 months, I would still say this is a heavy device, and it actually, you feel that it is almost 282 grams, and that is one of the heaviest smartphones, I would say. Yes, when you open it up and use it like a tablet, the weight gets distributed, so it's actually fine, I would say. But if you're just using the phone and you pick up any other phone, it feels heavy. I would say the internal screen, the outer is that Victus glass and all this in the Gorilla Glass, that's okay. But internal, again, we have this screen protector pre-installed. I didn't remove it. Inside that, we have a thin layer of glass. But again, guys, it's not Gorilla Glass or anything, so you have to be careful with this. But again, regarding the internal screen, I would say it's durable enough, because if you notice, this is the Fold 1 that I had used last year. Still, the internal screen does not have any issues. So it's not as fragile as you guys think. But again, I would not suggest this one to a rough user. Common sense stuff you have to use. You should not poke it with your fingers and stuff, and don't press it with your fingers and close it. If you use common sense stuff, it would be fine, but still I would say this is not for people who use their phones very roughly. Regarding the cover, in the box, Samsung did not give us any cover with this device, which is disappointing, because with the Fold 1, as you can see, this is the cover that we got in the box. But with this one, we simply do not get any cover. And lastly, I would say, when I have to talk about this one, is the pricing. Certainly a very expensive phone at 1,50,000. So it's not for everyone. Yes, most of the foldables are actually very expensive as of now. Even I had the Motorola 5G, that clamshell dual, that was about 1,25,000. So these foldables are very expensive as of now. But again, if you have that kind of a budget, and the iPhone 12 Max Pro, etc., are costing almost around this price point. If you have that kind of a budget, and if you're not a rough user, I can actually recommend this phone. So if you're looking for a foldable device and you have that budget, yes, this generation I can recommend it. But again, I have a few expectations with the Fold 3. I hope they make it lighter, because that is something that I noticed every day. But overall, I would say I liked it. And yeah, there's one more minor con that I have with this one, and that is regarding the SIM slot. This one has just one physical nano SIM. Yes, it has the second SIM, but that has just eSIM capabilities, and I wished it had that physical dual SIM capabilities. Apart from that, I would say I'm liking this phone, and I've been using it for the past 2 months, and I purchased this one, and it's not a review on it or anything, and I don't have any regrets. So looking forward to what Samsung does with the Fold 3, and I just hope in 2021 these foldables and stuff actually become more affordable. These smartphones as of now are not for everyone, but if you're sort of a business-centric user and you are okay with that price, you can certainly have a look at this one. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and if you guys are still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.